All right, can everybody hear me? Good morning, everybody. Wow, it has been an extremely long time. I have done my last Q&A. I would say probably about 4 to 5 months. So, first of all, good morning, good evening, good afternoon for people watching from different time zone. I am so very excited to be here today and talk to you live. First of all, it has been, before we take questions, I'm sure there are a lot of questions coming in. Want to give you a couple of updates, right? Let me just quickly resize my screen. Yeah. What a fantastic 2024. It has been an absolutely amazing 2024. Personally, the YouTube channel has grown phenomenal, and we have learned so many new things in the field of data engineering. We learned about Apache Hudi, we learned about Delta Lakes, we learned about Iceberg, we also learned about the new S3 tables that has just been announced, right? And we have been learning more and more in the data engineering space about DuckDB and all the amazing AWS new features that has been announced, including the Zero ETL. Personally, it has been a fantastic journey for the year 2024. And thank you for everybody who has been joining me and helping me to learn and push myself every single day. Without you guys, this channel would never exist in the first place. So firstly, thank you so much. It has been a fantastic journey over here. Second, I want to basically say this year has been rough. Of course, a lot of ups and downs in my personal and professional life, but I'm glad I made it. It was not easy at all. A lot of people probably who are joining in live, you probably know what happened and how I handle that situation. So personally, I want to say it has been a really tough year for me, but I'm glad I'm here talking with you today live. So thank you so much for everybody who helped me in my personal journey. Thank you once again. There are a lot of names that I would like to take, but in general, I just want to say thank you so much for all the help, all the support that you have given me over all these years for my YouTube. And with that being said, I am extremely excited for the year 2025. I am gonna learn a lot more about in the data lake space, right? I'm gonna sharpen my skills ahead, right? I wanna become one of the best engineers, right? And I wanna learn all the new technology. And of course, when I learn, I wanna, teach you guys as well through my YouTube videos. So we're gonna be exploring in 2025 all the new items again. Hudi 1.0 has been announced. I'm excited. I'm learning personally, right? I'm reading about it. I'm also learning and reading about the new S3 table buckets that has been announced in reInvent this year. And I'm also learning about DuckDB. I'm learning about Ray. I'm learning more and more in the big data space. So I am evolving in general, and I'll make sure that I pass on my knowledge to you guys via blogs, via YouTube videos, and stuff. With that being said, now we can probably open up for questions. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm assuming I'm just going to do a quick mic test. Questions? Okay, perfect. So first of all, hey Kiran and hey Ashutosh, thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you guys are doing fine. And I am ready to now take questions if you guys have any questions. So let's say, Ashutosh is saying it's an evening here. That's great. Thank you, Ashutosh. Ashutosh has been one of my very old subscribers on my YouTube channel. So thank you very much for your constant love and support on this channel. Kiran is also here. Says I am good. How are you doing? I want a job in IT field. Can you please help me? Of course, Kiran. I can try my best. I can probably guide and mentor you in the resume or any other stuff. I will put down my email address and let's connect. Shah Somal 519. There you go. Any questions that you have, please use this opportunity to ask the questions, and I'll try my best to give you honest, unbiased answer for the questions. So that being said, let's get started. So any questions, use this. This is a live stream. This is not a pre-recorded video. As you may see, I am speaking here, and you must be seeing the chat window. Oops, on this side. Oops, this side. Okay. Chat window on this side. So whatever questions you type, everybody will of course see that live, and we'll try to answer them on this live Q&A. I'm gonna be here for about 20 to 30 minutes. So if you have questions, if you are curious about something, or if you want to know in general, please use the window and ask your questions. And I hope everybody is doing fine. I hope everybody. I mean, if you're watching, first I want to say congratulations. You made it through 2024. It has been a rough year, of course, for everybody. But I'm hope you are fine. I hope your family is also doing great. So if you have questions, use the window, please. Ashutosh says, tell us how we can master PySpark. Basically, I'm looking for a job in the ad tech. My past experience lies in the computer vision. Ashutosh, I think that's a great example. I think one of the best ways to learn anything would be to try things out. I always usually say this, like trying small projects. So maybe I would say try to do some projects using Glue or EMR serverless or EMR on EC2, right? Once you have a project, now figure out or see ways on how you can optimize that project, right? Fine tuning parameters, right? So I would say that's the best way to, first of all, learn anything in general in detail, because I believe nobody knows everything. Learning is a journey. We always have to keep learning, because the IT field has been evolving so fast. There are new releases and new items coming constantly, right? And it's almost impossible to keep up with all the new announcement, right? But in general, having a good understanding of fundamentals would really help, I would say. And once you do these projects, I think using social media, LinkedIn, of course, GitHub, showcase your project, and attend conferences. Personally, I have attended a lot of conferences, and I'm looking to attend even more conferences in 2025. Conferences are best in two things. Number one, it will help you to gain deeper knowledge from the topic. Number two, it will also allow you to meet the subject matter expert in that domain, right? That way, that's an opportunity for you to network. That's an opportunity for you to connect outside work, right? So attend as many conferences as possible. Attend conferences, and if possible, I would say, if possible, try to deliver a talk or a session, because when you're talking or when you're delivering something, you have to prepare yourself, and that's the best way you can learn anything in detail. So these are my just suggestion from my personal opinion. We have Kids Rock. It says, I want to be a data engineer in 2025. Please guide me. First of all, I think data is a space which is constantly evolving, and data is growing, and there is always going to be need for good data engineers in 2025. As you know, AI, right? Generative AI. I mean, with all that stuff, still the foundation, you need the data. Data has to be organized, has to be cleansed. So that's when ML engineers can use it. So data engineers are the foundation, right? The best way to master data engineering in general is, I would start with the basics, data structures, very basic data structures, and then taking up small projects. Learn about PySpark, learn about Pandas, learn about Polaris, all these are different Python libraries, how you can read the data, how you can manipulate the data, how you can process the data much more efficiently, how you can do it at scale at a cheaper cost, right? So one thing is like, okay, you write a code that works, right? But now ask yourself, hey, what if I get a 100 GB file? Will this code work? How can I scale my application, right? So once you understand the basics, right, now start asking these questions, okay, how can I scale my application? How can I make it more efficient? How can I make it more cost effective, right? That's when once you ask questions, now you're going to try to find out solution. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should try DuckDB. I think it can easily read a massive file much more efficiently and fast, right? So you see, first get the basics and then start asking questions. How can I improve? How can I make it better? What can I do this, right? And of course, attend conference talks and meet people as much as possible and do projects. These are my suggestions. I hope that helps. Any other questions that you guys have? Please use the window and ask them. But yeah, I mean, in general, data modeling, data engineering is a very vast field. When we say data engineer, there's just so many things to do, right? ETL pipeline, data modeling is there, data lake is there. Then you have the compute part where you're going to work with either, a Spark or Ray or any other engine, right? So it's a vast field, right? But having that basic fundamental knowledge and then asking, as I said, those questions. How can I make this project better? How can I optimize? How can I make it fast? How can I do it cheaper? How can I do it better? Right? So yeah. Project ideas, I think there's a lot, right? You can start with data lakes projects. Again, I'm just giving you some suggestions that I feel that would be best to do. So data lake projects, understanding the medallion architecture. Again, don't go into specific technology, but first like have an understanding, okay, what is Medallion architecture, why would I need it, right? How can I dedupe the data, having a good grip on SQL, right? So I would start with those basics and then starting to build a simple project, right, where you have some database pushing some data in an object store, you're trying to ingest it in the Medallion architecture, see how you can query this data, what are the tools available, Athena, Trino, Presto, DuckDB, right? Explore all these engines, right? Ask, once you understand, then ask yourself, okay, when do I use Athena or when do I use DuckDB, right? What is the advantage, right? Now then understand the details of it, right? And that's how you can progress, right? Ashutosh has one more question. Missed mine question. Sorry, I did not mean to do that. Let me see what was his question. Could you give me a roadmap like what those fundamentals are known like some keywords? Let me just see if I can probably. I'm sorry, I did not quite understand that question. Could you refresh that maybe, Ashutosh? Are you suggesting or asking, probably if I'm understanding by reading a question, are you suggesting what are the fundamentals for data engineering? Is that the question? If you can kindly clarify that in the chat window, that would be great. But yeah, I know I haven't done like a Q&A. I used to do this quite often, like every weekend, I would say. But there's just enough that you can do, right? Everything needs time, and I'm trying my best to devote time to stuff, right? So Ashutosh says, I wanted to say, could you give a roadmap of cloud data engineering and tools required? Oh yeah, I think that's a very good question. I think I can try to answer that. So again, I personally have worked only with AWS, so I'm gonna tell you the AWS native tools and technology, right? That for of course data engineering. All right, let's begin. So let's divide that into following phase. So first starts your storage, right? So understanding your storage, Ashutosh, right? So first understanding S3 buckets, right? Okay, it's an object store where you can dump data, right? Okay, we have understanding about that. Then study about lifecycle policies, right? S3 standard, infrequent, glacier, right? How and when you should use these, lifecycle policies and why you should use that. Of course, the answer is because you wanna, as the data gets older, you wanna transition so you can save cost, right? So understanding the lifecycle policy, then you can go into in S3 you have like events. So whenever an object is pushed into like S3, you can fire up a particular job or a process through a Lambda function, right? So studying a little bit about more event-driven processing there. After that, once you understand the storage part, of course, there is table buckets as well that this year the reInvent they have announced. So understanding the storage part pretty well, and I would say once you understand the object store, then you can go a little bit detail into okay, when you store data, of course, Parquet. Most widely, Parquet is the file format that's used, right? Why is that used, right? What are the details of it, right? Like you can go into the detailed architecture of Parquet if needed, but you can stop at the high level if needed. Again, it's up to you how detailed you want to go in that domain, right? So that's the object store part. Now comes how you want to process the data, right? Understanding the Medallion architecture, raw, bronze, silver, right? Raw is where data comes from the system. Bronze is where you convert the data into append only. You move the data into Parquet files append only, right? Your data is not dedupe, right? And then from bronze to silver is where you read incrementally, you dedupe it, and then you cleanse the data and you organize that in the silver layer. And gold is where you would create dimensions and fact, right? So that's your Medallion architecture, raw, bronze, silver, and gold. Once you again, this is going to be built on the object store, right? So now to build the Medallion architecture or to build the gold tables, right, you would have to study, okay, how can I build a dimension and a fact table? What are slowly changing dimension, type 1, type 2, type 3, right? Studying data modeling exercise, right? How you can model the data efficiently, right? So you see how we are now progressing, right? Okay, object store, then you study this, now you're studying this, right? Now let's tackle the compute part, right? Now when you're moving data, right, you would use either Spark or Ray or DuckDB, whatever engine you're using, right? Let's say assume you're using Spark, right? So you're starting with Spark, right? Once you've built, now ask this question yourself, like, hey, do I really need Spark? am I processing that much data that I would need Spark to do that, or is this something that could be done in memory, right? Like DuckDB or Ray or any other, right? So ask these questions, and then you'll see, okay. So if my data set is less than 80 gigs, I don't really need Spark. I can just do with maybe PyArrow or Ray or DuckDB. That should work, right? So you see, now you're getting into details, right? Now you're saying, okay, why do I want to use Spark? When should I use Spark? Okay, so you see how I'm going, right? So now you know that, right? Now, okay, where can you run your Spark jobs? Okay, you have Glue jobs, you have EMR serverless, you have EMR on EC2. Okay, when do I use Glue, or when do I use EMR, or when do I use the EMR on EC2, right? Ask these questions. Now you will see details, right? So that's when you will start diving deep into cost structure. Okay, Glue is been priced at this price. Okay, EMR serverless is at this price, and EMR on EC2 is this price. So if I have my jobs that are long running jobs, I would probably make sense. I would go for EMR on EC2. But if I have less number of jobs and they're more like batch oriented, I'll just use Glue because it's for the simplicity, right? So you see, understanding storage, then the Medallion architecture, then how the data is processed, the data modeling exercise, then now, okay, we're just going into compute, right? Now, Ashutosh, you can also dive into the query part. Now, this is a whole new era, right? Okay, of course, now there are so many query engines, right? So first, how can you query the data? That's the basic. Okay, query in Spark, query in DuckDB or any other engines, right? Now, Presto, Trino, StarRox, DuckDB, Athena, Redshift, right? You have so many query engines, right? Okay, now once you know how you can query, now understand the details. Okay, when do I use StarRox to query this data, or when do I use Spark, or when do I use Trino? What are the advantages, right? Understanding now the finer details. For example, I was reading a blog a while back. StarRox is really good at joining data. If you have like lot of data, lot of tables, and lot of joins, StarRox, based on a blog I read on Medium, StarRox is better at that particular stuff, right? So you see, now once you understand the basics, the engine, now you're going into a little detail. Okay, when do I use this, or when do I use that, right? Now you're understanding the details. Okay, StarRox, okay, I want to consider again as an example. I might want to use StarRox because, you know, if I'm doing a lot of joins, StarRox could easily handle that, and I can probably approach that. If you want to do ad hoc analysis, okay, what query engine do you think is going to be the best for you? If the data set is less than 100 gigs, okay, DuckDB would work, right? I don't need Athena or any other query engine. So for smaller data set, I can use that. So my point, what I'm saying is, see, first the basics, hello world, everything. Once you have the hello world, everything, then you start asking questions. How can I optimize? How can I make it better? How can I do this? How can I do that? So I hope I answered your question, Ashutosh. Please let me know if I did. So that's my suggestion for data engineering in general. But if you have any questions, please use the opportunity and, you know, ask your questions here live. Any other questions, please use the window, you know, and ask as many questions as you can today. But in general, also, I would say, you know, data engineering field is changing, right? Like, I mean, in like software, right? We have to like study, right? Having that study time really helps. My study time is Saturday from 9 to 11:30. That's the time when I learn, right? That's the time when I'm reading or learning, or I'm doing some POC, or I'm doing some projects. That's how I learn, right? I mean, it's the hard truth that, you know, this field requires a lot of time. The field software in general takes a lot of time and effort, right? Because the way technology is changing, it's like new things are constantly coming. Like, okay, now S3 tables, now something now like this, right? So you have to have that learning edge, right? If you do not do that, I think in today's competitive world, it's very, very hard and difficult, right? Because a lot of people, they are extremely competitive, they are extremely knowledgeable. So at least you have to keep up knowing what's coming out, right? In general, understanding the technology and would help in general is what I would say. Thanks for answering. I will start the S3 buckets. Just the query tools works with SQL only. Yeah, I think that's a good choice, Ashutosh. You know, so start from there, and then slowly you can progress, as I said, right? Any other questions? Please, you know, come ask questions as much as you can today. And again, I will, you know, try my level best. 2025, I'll try to be more consistent on my office hours. I know the last office hour was like 6-7 months back, and you know, but I'll try at least to do 2 office hours in a month. So hopefully I can connect with everybody more on a personal level, and then the goal is to help everybody in general, right? So yeah, any other questions that I can answer? Use the chat window, and please pop in those questions in the chat. But again, it's just a fantastic 2024. There has been highs, there has been lows in 2024. So overall, fantastic year, in general, and met a lot of people, and I've learned a lot in my personal life too, and I'm growing still at this point. So um, okay, I think we will meet next year. Oh yeah, I mean pretty soon. Again, in a couple of days, 2025 will come, and 2025 again. As I said, I'll try to do more Q&A more frequently. So if you have anything, you can, and then I'll also keep fixed dedicated hours, because I know in the past my Q&A were like sometime 10 o'clock Saturday, Sunday. I'll make sure that time, so that way you guys know, okay, this guy is going to be available at this time. If I have anything, I can come and ask him live, right? So 2024 was a hard for 2023 was hard for me, and 2025 will be harder, but I enjoyed. Yeah, that's what it is, right? And honestly speaking, Ashutosh, I just wanted to share this. 2024 has been very, very difficult for me also in personally. Again, I don't want to comment on the exact reason, but there was a lowest point in 2024 where I thought everything is done, but I bounced back, right? That's the most important, right? I kept my hope high. I worked hard, and yeah. But again, that's how life is, right? You're gonna have a high, you're gonna have a low, but you just gotta keep moving at the end of the day. So, but again, I have learned so much, man, and I must say, I have met some extremely smart people. They are super good at what they do, and it's 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 really an honor to, I would say, to work with them, because the ideas, the way they think is simply amazing, right? When I'm in this brainstorming meeting, and the way they approach problems, and the way they think through it, it's simply amazing. Yeah. One thing I would say, personally for me, that has work and be around extremely smart people. That's the best way you will learn, again, and I do not treat them as competition, but I treat them as an opportunity to grow and learn. Again, I cannot comment on the exact name, but I have met some extremely smart people, very smart people, trust me. But again, that being said, when I meet them, I approach them in a way, okay, I have something to learn from them. I have something to grow from them. I approach it in a positive way, right? That's the way. Because when I went to conferences, for example, when I went to New York, some people were from fintech, some people were working at a hedge fund, extremely smart. I'm telling you, they are the best of best, And again, I learn from them. I learn from everybody, right? My goal for 2025 and this year was, let me absorb as much knowledge as possible from everyone. Everyone has something to teach. Everyone has something to learn, or to teach you, right? So my goal is, take out all the good things and filter out the bad things, right? That's about it, So I will be there for another 5 to 10 minutes. So if you have questions, please ask. So Ashutosh says, you were talking about people at Zera. Well, yeah, I mean, very smart people, right? As I said, everyone is extremely smart, So, working and meeting them is an honor and privilege, I would say, personally. And I'm learning just so much from everybody in general. So, yeah. Fantastic people, fantastic. Everybody in general, whenever I go to a conference, right? I attended last 2 conferences, so smart people, and super humble. All of them are humble, and they are willing to teach you and mentor you, right? So we have Vedas says, hi Somil, what do you do at Zera? Well, in short answer would be, I work as a software engineer at Zera. My role is software engineer for big data. So working with data engineering day to day. I cannot comment more on that. I think that I hope that helps. I want to keep it there. My role, as I said, is software engineering, and I work as a big data engineer there. We are working we are working on some very interesting projects. Hopefully, once we once we complete them, hopefully we will write some articles and blogs. But yeah. But again, one advice I can probably give everybody, whoever is watching here, 2025, please attend as many conferences as possible. Talk to as many people as possible. Write blogs, learn more, have learning time for yourself. That's again, grow in 2025. Whatever you have done is done. The mistakes are done. Take a fresh approach in 2025 and go from there. That's all I would say. We have a user ice cream says hello. Hey there. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you for joining in. And if you have questions, use the chat window. Ashutosh again ask a question, says in your career, you're mostly use Python or any other languages. Also, hope you don't find my questions. Oh no, absolutely not. Yes, I have mostly used Python because in the data engineering field, Python is most widely used, right? PySpark jobs or data manipulation, data cleaning, right? But that being said, that's not the only language I have worked with. I have worked with ASP.NET C# in the past. I have worked with Node.js in the past. Then I mean, infrastructure also, right? Like I know how to write Terraform code. I know serverless, serverless as well, CloudFormation, and a lot other stuff. So I would really call myself. I've done a lot of. I've been in most of all the domains possible. In the past, I have worked with Elasticsearch. I have a complete series on Elasticsearch, right? So I did a lot of amazing projects on Elasticsearch. I have been at the backend engineering roles, right? I have been in the data engineering space for a while, and my interest, my personal interest, I wanna be good in the data engineering space. I wanna and to be very specific too. Compute and data lake is where I wanna excel. Compute is where I wanna really understand all the available compute options for manipulating a massive amount of data, crunching and munching data. What's the best compute? How can I do it more cost effectively, right? And in data lakes, I wanna very narrow down to Iceberg, Delta, and Apache Hudi, of course. I do understand all the three formats very well. I know what particular technology is good at and what other technologies are not good at, and then I want to again keep learning in that particular domain. As new announcements are coming in, I'm keeping up, I'm learning more about it in general. So user ice cream says, I was thinking of using some multi-process local simulation as a data generator for data pipeline for big data project. Should I do this or something else? So you're looking for multi-process look. Yeah, I think, you can, I think there are a lot of open source library these days available for generating synthetic data. So my point would be, if you're trying to do this something by yourself, I would say first Google up some free library that are already available, and maybe you can just use it with 2 or 3 lines of code, right? But if something is not available, of course you can approach to write something custom by yourself. We have Vedas here says, thank you, Somil. What do you think about switching from Python? Like, do we have Go, Scala, and Rust, and so which are much better than Python? What do you think? Yeah, Vedas, I think you are absolutely right. See, new languages will be always be there, right? Every year there will be a particular thing that will be hyped. Like, giving an example, right? Just as an example. Few years back, if you remember, there was like blockchain, right? Everybody was into blockchain, but now this year it's like AI. So I do not really treat, so what I would say, of course, certain language would be better over others, but also you have to remember that certain language has more developer support. They have more open source library, right? At the end, I would say we should not be too much hung up on a programming language. understanding the basics, okay, how can I write a class, how can I execute this particular function, and understanding the basic would really help. And then language is at the end simply a syntax, right? In Python you write def, or in other languages you write something else, right? At the end, those syntax can be easily be understood by ChatGPT or Perplexity. I can simply Google and say, hey, give me basics of, let's say, any language ABCD, show me function, if statement, while loop, for loop, and class. That's it, right? Behind the scenes, you can create an instance, inheritance, polymorphic, they all remain the same, right? So the fundamentals are the same. What will change is how you write the syntax, right? And that we can easily learn with nowadays with AI. It's not a big deal, right? So I hope I answered that question. But in terms of programming language, yes, Rust or certain languages are better. But again, Python has much more library and lot more open source library. It makes it super easy, right? But for certain items, it might be a bit slow. But again, that's a trade-off that you have to choose as a developer, or also it depends upon the company that you're joining. For example, if you join a company and they're using Rust, you have to use Rust, right? There's no option, right? So I hope that helps. Uh, Seeing too many. Okay, so now where was I on the next question? I want to make sure I do not, skip any questions on this. So I think I answered switching. Okay, so I answered the programming language. Mohammed is here. So first of all, thank you, Mohammed, for again joining the live session. Mohammed says, I got 4.75x hike by referring your videos, and I want to know best ways to learn open table formats. Well, thank you so much. First of all, I mean, that's very generous and nice of you. First I would like to say I am not an expert. But again, I know I have been in this field for a very long time, but I always like to say that I am always a student. I'll always be a student. I'll always keep learning. The best way, now coming to your question, the best way to learn open table formats, I would say really understanding the basics. See, very basic, right? Delta, Iceberg, Hoodie, right? They all operate on a Parquet files, right? Simple, they operate on Parquet file, right? Simple, right? Now you can insert something, you can update something, you can delete something. Okay, cool. Now Hoodie does a bit better in terms. So what's really different is the metadata layer, right? Underlying Parquet files are the same, right? The metadata is what determines the table format. Okay, cool. Now, like all table formats, when you update something, now again, I'm just going how to learn, right? So all table formats, right? When you update something, newer versions are created, but natural, right? Now those older files, you have to prune it, right? So you need some sort of a cleaning, right? But also when you are writing a lot of stream oriented, right? There's a lot of small files. Your query engine will take more time, right? So you need like bigger, larger file. So you need a way to like group these files into larger Parquet files. So there's a process called clustering. So see, concept remains same, right? Okay, Iceberg also has it, Woody also has it, and Delta also has it. They call different things over here. Like, okay, somewhere it's called bin packing or vacuuming or clustering. Concept is the same, right? There are these issues and they are solved by that. So first I would say, okay, I can insert, update, delete. I know what the terms are: clustering, cleaning, compaction. I understand that. I understand copy on write and merge on read. You understand the basic, right? Now, how do you learn these table formats, right? Okay, pick up a project, do simple hands-on lab, right? Once you know the concept, then it's only about, okay, different words, right? Delta, I think Delta Lake calls it vacuum, right? In Hoodie, we have cleaners, right? Cleaning services, right? So the only thing is going to change some configuration, something here and there. That you can easily make out from ChatGPT, any website stuff, right? So I would say the most core important here is to understand the basic. Why Hoodie excels at certain thing, why Iceberg is better than this, or why Delta Lake is better than this, right? That finer detail is something that we need to understand as engineers, right? Like I have, in my past work, I have worked with Hoodie for probably 2 to 3 years. I've worked with that, right? I understand Hoodie much better. I am still keeping up with the new releases like 1.0. There is so many features like secondary index, right? I know how it works. Right? I know what problem it's solving. It is trying to solve a problem of speeding up upsert, right? Because certain queries are slow. It allows you to create an index so your queries are faster, right? So concepts is same, right? Now it's just the application is different at different formats, right? So understanding the basic and then basically doing some simple projects, right? But the main key goal lies in learning is why Hoodie, why Iceberg, why Delta, or when to use Hoodie, when to use Iceberg, Why should you use Hoodie over this? Why should you use this over that? What makes it different? How is it faster than this? That's the thing we have to see, right? First is like basic, you understand basic, then asking these questions. Why this? Why that? How can I make it faster? How can I make it better? How can I do it cheaper? That's the thing, right? So I hope I answered the question, Mohammed. Okay. All right. Taking a next question, just taking a small pause. Okay. All right. Ashutosh, there's a next question from again Ashutosh. Says, compute means running code on server like AWS Lambda. Yeah, Ashutosh. See, compute in general is like C, right? You can run the code. See, there are different compute options, right? Like different compute engines, I would say, right? Spark is one of them. Ray is one of them. Then you have in-memory processing, right? You can use DuckDB, PyArrow. Then you have distributed processing libraries like Daft is there, Ray is there, right? So these are like different compute engine. And now, again, once you understand the basic down, you want to ask question. Why do I use Spark? Why do I use Ray? When do I use Spark? Does it make sense to use Spark here? How can I make it faster? How can I reduce the cost? That's the most important at the end. How can I, again, all these stuff, right? First the basics, then asking questions. How can I do this? How can I do that? How can I do it better? How can I do it cheaper? So I hope that helps. We have a question from the user Ice Cream and says, seeing too many LIM projects on Upwork and not particularly interested, so thinking of learning big data and working on data engineering contracts. Yeah, I think, see, this is also a great way to learn, right? Like when you do projects on Upwork, you will have you will gain enough skills by doing that, because you would have to do real world projects. So I think that's a really good idea, I would say. We have Vedas here again ask a question, says, have you ever thought of learning generative AI? Okay, great question. So I understand generative AI, but I would say it's a complete different field, right? Now, a lot of people are going, oh, generative AI, augmented reality. Yeah, I've always thought, but my goal is very clear. What I want to do is basically, I want to become a specialist, right? I can know the technology, of course. I know how it works. I know the vector embedding. I know the vector stores different, right? And there are ways to do it, right? I understand the technology, but I do not want to go deep in that. I don't need to go deep in that, because I want to be best or good at data lakes and data engineering space. So my energy and focus is in that domain. But again, that being said, I do understand that domain from a high level. And if needed, I can always dive deeper, right? Because as engineers, we cannot learn everything, right? We can know things from a high level perspective. And whenever it's needed, you have to read the docs and dive much deeper into that, right? So again, I understand that, but I want to go deep in the data engineering space. The user Ice Cream says, LMO, AI isn't too difficult, but you shouldn't have a good front end and a clean architecture. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Again, I think it's already 11 o'clock, so I'll take a few more questions and I think we'll wrap up today's session. Need to cook food and do laundry and other stuff, right? So I have to devote time to those items as well, But I'll be there for a couple of more minutes for sure. Vedas again asked a question. Could you please share which LLM models or website you might be using on a daily basis? Very easy, man. ChatGPT and Perplexity. These are the only two I use, right? Anytime I don't understand anything, I input it and say, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Again, everybody uses it this day. There is no shame or what's the right word? AI is there to make you better. AI is there to increase your productivity. AI is gonna make you make you better at job, right? So using it to learn stuff, asking it questions, chatting with it. Hey, what about this? How do I do this? Or how do I do that? Right? So these are the two everybody uses in general. Excuse me. Muhammad again asked a question. What is the best way to resolve concurrency issues when querying an S3 tables, iceberg format. I might have to dig a little bit deeper into that. I'm assuming there are lock options available, DynamoDB based lock, file based lock, right? But again, I have not went deep into that particular domain, but this is something I wish to explore in the upcoming months. So ice cream says, user ice cream says, I use ChatGPT for because it has uh, goof text formatting, and Claude is also good at coding. Okay, Claude. I haven't used Claude. I will definitely try that out. I have actually found like certain AIs are better at something. For example, in my personal opinion, ChatGPT does better at Terraform code, and Python codes are better written by Perplexity, right? Again, my personal observation I've seen, right? But I think I have to try Claude for sure. Have you worked with Kubernetes? Yes, I have worked with Kubernetes a little bit, but again, again that comes more in the DevOps side. But yes, I have worked with Kubernetes and I do understand. In fact, I actually have a crash course on Kubernetes on my YouTube. If you ever wanted to learn, I cover all the basics about how to create a pods, right? How to auto scale your pods. I have a complete video on that. So if needed, I can share the links in the description later on. Wow, what a fantastic Q&A. I mean, a lot of questions. It has been a fantastic Saturday morning, I must say that. Yeah, please, any other questions, please ask. We'll do 5 more minutes. Then I need to start, preparing my food. So, 5 more minutes for the questions. Any questions, please go ahead and ask them. What's the benefit of using hoodie over there? Oh my God, this question is like a curveball question, like, but again, I'll definitely answer. Uh, these reflect my personal opinion, right? Apache Hoodie really excels at indexing capabilities. I believe, based on my knowledge and from what I've worked with, it really does upsort very, very well. And the fact that you can create multimodal index, and now also secondary index, makes it unique for if you have data that has a lot of updates coming in, right? It really handles flawlessly, right? Again, just my opinion. Iceberg, on the other hand, has a wider ecosystem, right? A lot of other query engines, right, have support for Iceberg, right? So now please don't ask, okay, which one to use and when, because there are a lot of blogs already there. So, but again, in my personal opinion, if you have a use case where you want to dedupe the data, a lot of updates are coming in, you need the queries to be much more faster, you need that indexing option, you need that fine edge. Hoodie is the guy where you want to go, because Hoodie will offer you those very, very fine grained settings which other formats would probably lack. And I would really say Hoodie is not a format, but it's a database more on data lake. With 1.0, if you probably have read the announcement, right? There are so many changes, LSM tree, right? Then the way they do those partial updates, right? Then the secondary index is one of them. There's a lot of improvements in that, right? So again, I would say depends from company to company, stack to stack, and use case to use case, right? You can choose. But again, I believe nobody should be locked into a format. Apache Xtable, I'm sure you know about it. Xtable will allow you to interoperate between all the formats, right? So at the end, when you are building a data solution, you want to build a uniform, like I believe Microsoft, I mean, I don't use Microsoft, I use AWS only, but I've heard Microsoft Fabric, it takes care of all the formats, a uniform fabric, right? So that's what you want to aim for, right? Bring in any formats, right? And it just works, right? So I hope that helps. Okay, guys, two or three questions, and I gotta go for cooking and laundry and other things. So a couple of more questions, okay? Uh, which one did I answer last? Let's see. Okay, user ice cream says, I built a completely automated MLOps dashboard with Airflow. That's fantastic. If you can share the GitHub links, that would be great. I would love to, I mean, the audience would love to see your project, Ashutosh says, I think I will go buy also. And what food are you cooking? Oh, okay. By the way, goodbye, Ashutosh, and again, thank you so much for joining. I'm thinking to cook like simple food, right? Dal, rice, and probably fansinu shak. हमारा गुजराती वहाँ के I don't know. I mean, I haven't spoken Gujarati on my YouTube channel, but what is called French beans? French beans, yeah. So that. Veda says, I got into an issue where I wanted to generate an alert from a cron job in Kubernetes. I found there are ways like Prometheus and Alert Manager, but do you have a better and an easy way within Kubernetes? I have to explore that particular area. I haven't explored in detail, but if needed, I can definitely do some Google search and research on that a little bit. But again, to answer your question, I haven't deeply explored that particular part. The user ice cream says it ingests data and displays Plotly graph and uses Streamlit and oh wow, that sounds like a very interesting project. I must say, you should share the GitHub project here in this live chat or later on because people would love to see that. I would say. Yash is here says hi Somil. First of all, hi Yash. Thank you so much for joining. Could you please start a series on Databricks? Yes, absolutely. I definitely plan to do that. I think on this YouTube channel, there should be knowledge available for everything, right? I have for Iceberg, I have for Hoodie, and I think Databricks is something I can probably start and add to my YouTube channel. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I will definitely, 2025 Databricks will be there on my playlist for sure. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take one last question, guys, and then cooking, laundry, and other daily items that I have to do for the day, right? So one last question, one or two last questions, please. Great Vedas, sorry. Great Vedas, thank you so much. And please, I'll type my email address in case if you want to shoot me or if you want to chat more. That's my email address. Feel free to shoot me hi, hello, or if you want to chat deeper, and feel free. Again, as I said. All right, so I'm gonna probably conclude this video now. Okay, I think we have answered a lot of questions today. So thank you so much, everybody. 2024 has been a fantastic year. There has been highs, there has been lows, but I'm glad I made it. It was overall a tough year for me, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm speaking with you. I'm glad. The most thing that I'm proud of is I'm healthy, right? That's the most important thing. My health is great. Other than that, everything else will come with time, right? The most important thing is make sure you're healthy and you're taking good care of your body. Health is something that you cannot, that once gone won't come back. Take good care of your body, eat good food, sleep well. That's all I would say. And 2025, I'm super excited. I will keep learning in the data engineering space. And of course, as I learn, I will also teach you. That being said, please make sure you're safe, you're healthy, and you take extremely good care of your health, both your physical and mental health, right? Mental health is something not people often talk about, but make sure you are doing great in your life. And if there is anything that I can do to help you in your personal life, please let me know. Of course, I cannot connect with all the 45,000 people, but what I can do is I can, of course, maybe give you some pointers or how I would approach a particular situation, because I'm sure just other than programming, there are a lot of other things that goes in everyone's personal life. Somebody, of course, is going through, marriage, other things, right? Software is a small part of your life. Work is a small component of your life. There are other things than software, right? So if there's anything you have questions, or if you want me to help you or maybe tell you my perspective, I'm happy to do that. I have pointed my email address in the chat. So in case if you wanna, chat, shoot me an email. I know there's a question, one more. Where do you stay in US? I'm gonna answer that last question. I stay in Connecticut, Stamford. I'm close by to Grand Central. So if you are, probably in New York, feel free or come to my place. Let's have an Indian cup of tea. I would love to have a nice Indian tea and have some nice gossip with you. So if you're nearby, let me know. Always happy to connect with you. That being said, thank you so much for watching all my videos. Thank you so much for love. Thank you so much for support. Thank you for being the amazing audience for all 12 to 15 years that I have my YouTube channel. I have grown a lot because of you guys, and I hope 2025 brings prosperity. You grow, you get everything that you desire, and at the end, same thing. At the end, keep smiling, keep programming, be happy, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys, and once again, in advance, happy